CC, what did T.O. miss by not going to Canton?
Well, first, let me address what he said. As far as him feel like he's taking a stand for the Hall of Fame because the writers don't line up with the core values as far as what our core values are. There are commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and excellence. Those are the core values that I didn't know. I mean, I have those in my life, but I didn't know they were the core values of the Hall of Fame until when, Sarah? When I got in. And Mean Joe Green and Lynn Swann and others began to tell me about what our core values were. So there's so much that I learned about being in the Hall since I got there that I think it's impossible to have the insight that Terrell is trying to give unless you've been in the Hall or been with the Hall of Famers before.
It's impossible to have the insight on any organization. I don't care if it's the local Boy Scout troop, the NFL Hall of Fame, or a company. You can't claim to speak to or represent or preach about core values of an organization that you just became a part of. It's just naturally illogical. If we hired someone for this show and their first day here, he's like, let me tell you guys, he or she, about the core values of First Things First. Like, the hell are you talking about? I knew you'd seize on that because it just seems like there's a time and a place, and there's people who are equipped to talk about things. I'm not saying T.O.'s not smart enough or wouldn't eventually be able to talk about these things, but how do you know about the core values of an institution in which up until that moment you were not a member?
And T.O. has verbalized, so he didn't tell the truth there. He's verbalized to Hall of Famers that if he had been selected in his first year or second year and not being selected his third year when he was, but Randy Moss got in his first ballot, that affected him. So he's not even telling the truth. Like, tell the truth, all right? The reason why he was upset was like I was upset. Like a lot of other people were upset. Lynn Swann waited over 14 years to get in. So him even doing this is not going to right something that all Hall of Fames have. There's a wait. There's periods where guys should get in. They're not going to get in. So for him thinking that he changed the system, no, he didn't change the system to help out me and others. He didn't do that on our behalf. So that's not even being truthful or being the elephant in the room. T.O., let's stop that. There's a reason why you did it, all right? And it's because the Hall of Fame didn't select you. And, tell the truth. And there's other things that you were worried about. When you're selected, typically the team that you're going in as host a party for you. And these parties go from anywhere from $100 up to $400,000. And they spend, I'm talking about, they have the best champagne, best decorations. All these things are right there at your party. No team said they were going to throw a party for him. San Francisco didn't. Dallas didn't. Philadelphia didn't. Cincinnati didn't. So he knew he was going to have some problems as far as his Hall of Fame, but talking to Emmitt Smith and others there at the Hall, that they would have done, or we would have done as a group, something to make sure that his celebration was on par with everyone else. Now, he's decided to forfeit all those things, but his family members and his friends, the overall experience of being in Canton on his weekend, that will never happen. Even one day, because he will come to the Hall, okay? Because he will acknowledge and come to the Hall one day. But that weekend for his people that were significant in him getting there, it won't be a weekend for them.
And the other thing, when you're talking about tell the truth, it also should be noted that he said, I'm not certain if it was in his speech or previous, but he mentioned that the Hall was essentially being petty and that they wouldn't send him his jacket. That he had to go send someone to go get his jacket for him. And when I initially heard those comments, I'm like, they wouldn't send him his jacket. And then I found out the actual circumstances. When does everyone get their jacket, see?
On Friday night. We have an official ceremony where your presenter presents you for the first time with your tailor-made jacket.
So for Ray Lewis, for Randy Moss, for Brian Dawkins, the first time they got to put that jacket on was Friday night.
Friday night. And Dave Baker, who is our leader, decided that he would not allow them to see his jacket before the other Hall of Famers saw their jacket.
Well, that's the key. T.O., correct me if I'm getting this wrong, T.O. was told, listen, we can send it to you via FedEx Friday night, or on Friday night, you or an emissary, you can send someone on Friday to get it. What we're not going to have is the guy who's not showing up get his jacket before Brian Urlacher.
The funny thing about
Ray Lewis.
The person that he sent to get his jacket, this guy picks up the jacket. He goes to Ray Lewis's party. Me and Sue were partying with Ray Lewis. He had an amazing party. Man, the Ravens, they know how to throw a party. They had some good food, drink. His buddy, T.O.'s buddy, was at the party. He couldn't fly out to the next day, flew to Atlanta, and drove to Tennessee with the jacket. So, man, you try not to be part of the Hall of Fame, but you got to be a part of it to be able to get your jacket. And his friend was able to experience what one of these parties is like.
So I want to ask you another question, because the Ray Nitschke luncheon, this is, if people don't know what it is, you've told me a lot about it. Nobody's allowed into this luncheon except for the living Hall of Famers and that class of soon-to-be Hall of Famers and their presenters, correct?
Yes.
That's it. There's no media there. It's not. Sue couldn't go.
No.
Like, it's just you guys. And that luncheon is known for a lot of things, but at times, I mean, I don't want to say airing of grievances, but if there's things that need to be addressed amongst that group of guys, they are addressed there, because there's almost an unspoken code. We're not going to speak bad of Hall of Famers publicly, right? Like, but if someone thinks a Hall of Famer's acting a fool, that's a time where maybe a veteran Hall of Famer might say something to him. The T.O. situation was a big topic at that luncheon, correct?
Yes.
And do you think there will be some type of protocol in place moving forward to try to prevent this? Or is it considered such a one-off that you wouldn't need a protocol?
Well, one thing is, you don't want to be caught by surprise. So will someone else follow what T.O. did? It was for us to have the discussion. Darrell Green brought it up. Other Hall of Famers, Michael Irvin, Charles Haley, they are very emphatic about making sure that T.O. is represented in the room, which he was represented. Joe Namath had some compelling things to say about what a man is going through and walking in his shoes and understanding that, or just being empathetic enough to know that he's going through something different and respecting that whole process. But I thought the Hall of Famers, we had a great spirited conversation about what we're going to do moving forward. We believe in Dave Baker and the things that they have done, even in this situation, but someone thinking that they're going to boycott the Hall of Fame and it's going to change our system of how we're doing things, they are wrong. And for T.O. to think him not being there changed something this weekend, it didn't. And it won't going forward.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.